Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and today we are here to talk about something that I hardly ever do, which is blind buy, and we're going to go over my top 10 favorite blind buys of 2024. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. All right, so my top 10 blind buys, I'm going to rank them. I like all these movies. I'm very happy that I got all these movies. So it's just kind of splitting hairs, but so it's a subjective list because I'm going to get into ranking 4K, like my 4Ks of the second half of the year and then the 4Ks of the whole year. I'm going to do a couple different videos on those. And that will be partly subjective, but a lot more objective, like on the quality of the 4K restoration and all that. This is not necessarily even 4Ks. This is just my favorite movies and things that I have never seen before that I bought this year and just absolutely loved. Things that are actually going to talk me into having more blind buys in the future. But let's go ahead and get to it. And coming in at number 10 on the list is one that I just talked about a good bit recently, and that is Terrifier 3. I love the whole concept of creating a new horror icon. I love the fact that my son, he grew up with me making horror movies, that he's into horror movies, and that Art the Clown is a big one for him. Although he says like a lot of kids on his football team still don't know who Art the Clown is yet. So we gotta get it to where more kids like can sneak in and see. Not saying we gotta go PG-13 because I hate PG-13 horror as a general rule, but I want to make him more accessible to more and more people. So because I love those little glimpses of his personality. I love where they're going with him becoming more and more supernatural and like his origins. And of course, I work with the Fuzz on the Lens guys. I've told you guys, so I love them. I love what they do. I'm going to talk about another movie of theirs that's underrated that you guys should check out. It's called Abnormal Attraction. But this movie, over the top. I'm not a gore hound, so it's not necessarily for me, but everything that it encompasses and the indie spirit and creating an icon, and it, me and my son bonded over, we bond over watching. We watch horror movies together. That makes it a great one for me. So Terrifier 3 comes in at number 10 on my list. At number 9 on my list, I'm going horror again. This is one I had never seen. It'd been stuck on streaming forever. And then in swoops Scream Factory, and they give us this big ass set, and I am talking about Hush. I am not a big home invasion movie guy. They don't scare me. They don't scare me. I mean, most of these, it's like if the person was just bigger and they had a gun, or they, they were protecting themselves in their home, these things would be over really quick. So the fact that I am well protected, let's just say that, and I'm a big guy that people break, it just never has scared me. So I've never been into home invasion movies at all, but I did enjoy this one. I like the concept of the lead character being deaf and having to deal with that. I liked the pacing of it. It was nice and fast. Because I feel like there's only so much you can suspend the disbelief on that this kind of situation would keep going. I like the indie spirit of this movie. I love the fact that we got a big, 4-disc set here. We got 2 different restorations of this on 4K. We got the theatrical cut and we got the shush cut in black and white. Both of them restored into 4K. I like getting stuff off of streaming. And, where streaming can't hold stuff hostage. I hate that. I hate it because they hold things that we love hostage at a lower quality so that you have to keep paying a subscription forever if you want to watch those things. So I love that this is being rescued. Mike Flanagan, getting his stuff off there. Big supporter of that. So Hush comes in at number 9. I had never seen it before, so none of these I had ever seen before. So Next one is a awesome release from Arrow that I'm not going to talk about a lot because you're going to see me talk about this in January a lot because I'm going to do a lot of like mysteries, murder mysteries, and like, you know, snowy winter vibes movies. But this was a blind buy for me. Highly recommended by several people. Daniel over at Cobwebs, bunch of people recommended this one. I'm a big Bill Paxton fan, so of course I picked up A Simple Plan. Now, this may actually move higher on my list upon repeated viewings, but this is a really good movie. Lots of atmosphere. I love atmosphere. I love the snowy, cold vibe. I really love that. Feel like this is going to be perfect January watching. So you're going to see me talk about this more in January. You got Bridget Fonda in here, Bill Paxton, and this movie. So without like going into too much, I can say at least what's on the back here without spoiling too much. So they find a plane with a dead pilot and a bag with $4 million. And then it becomes the whole, what would you do? And how do you deal with the choices of what you do, what that can do to you, all kinds of stuff like that. And like Bridget Fonda plays a good role in this. Bill Paxton, who I always love, but I don't want to talk about it too much. It's got a great looking 4K. It's a Sam Raimi film. He approved the 4K with Arrow, and you know, sometimes when people build stuff up, everybody's like saying, this is so good. It's so good. You got to see it. You got to see it. It kind of lets you down when you watch it. Not because not because they're wrong, but because it's so overhyped. You go in with these high expectations. This one delivered on it. This one delivered. So you'll see me talking about this a lot more. Sometimes good people do evil things. And A Simple Plan comes in at number 1098 on my list. At number 7, you're going to hear me talk about this guy a lot. I'm going to do my deep dive on him in January, most likely. I've been talking about it for a while. I've been doing my research, watching films, studying all kinds of stuff. And then we just got a new release announcement of this yesterday. But first time watch for me this year that I loved, Brian De Palma's Dressed to Kill. Is it my favorite movie of his? No, it isn't. But this thing has like, especially the way it starts and the way that like, it has some Giallo flavor in there to me a little bit. Like, I'm not the biggest Giallo guy, but that was the first thing that popped to my mind with a little bit. I could see how they had to cut some stuff to avoid an X rating, because when this starts off, like there's a lot of nudity. There's a lot of like close up. There's some close up nudity of, you know, things down below. But this 4K looks great, and I actually just talked about this yesterday, on my Arrow physical media news. This 100 gigabyte disc, this 4K looks awesome. It's only 2 years old. Arrow is re-releasing this with the exact same 4K transfer over in the UK, and people are like, well, yeah, so it's they're not exchanging licenses because it's UK only. But 4Ks, with the rarest of rare exception, are region free anyway, and you can buy, stuff from anywhere, no matter where you are. So it's readily available. This one keeps going on sale. I had someone mention that this was going out of print. I checked with Kino. It's not for, the slipcover version's going out of print, and they put it on sale, but that's all they would confirm with. So that's only like confirmation that I have. But this is a great looking 4K. The movie is if you like Giallo films, you'll definitely like this. This is in my Brian De Palma deep dive. Got Nancy Allen in here, who he also worked with on Blowout. And there you go. Got me some Dressed to Kill, Brian De Palma, and it comes in at, gonna keep forgetting this, 10,987 on my list. We might have an honorable mention here at the end too, but anyway, so coming in at number 6 on my list is a Walter Hill film, a VSU release of Southern Comfort. I had never seen this before that I remember. I may have, and there's one other one on here that it kind of falls in that category too. But this movie definitely leans hard. There's some Wicker Man vibes in this. It's got a great cast in it, and This 4K looks so good because I know the situation that they had to film this thing in. I mean, they're like actually out in the swamp. So it's like a National Guardsman in Louisiana, and they have to go on like a routine training thing, and they're out in the woods, they're out in the swamp, and they have to go. They have to make it through there and rendezvous at their point. Basic training exercise. And there's a part where they got to cross water and they don't want to do it. And they find some boats tied up, some canoes, and they're going to like take them, and they leave a note that, we're going to bring them back. But the locals find them doing this and they're not happy about it. And one of the soldiers fires his gun towards them. Now they're blanks. They don't have live ammunition, because just a training exercise. But these people don't know that. And so they fire back and kill the leader here, the captain. And holy crap, everything goes downhill it becomes survival horror, 100% survival horror from that point. And it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And even at the end, it's not clear what happens. So this is a good movie. I highly recommend, and it definitely takes a dark horror turn. But Southern Comfort comes in at number 6 on our list. At number 5, at number 5 on my list of best blind buys of the year is from another director that I'm doing a deep dive on, and I'm just enthralled with like everything he has to say now. David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. To say this thing is surreal is different. When I first started studying Lynch this year, there was part of me that said he doesn't know, like, I'm not sure he knows what he's doing. He's just filming cool shit and putting it together. He's not sure what he's doing. And then the more I watched him, because I write and direct too, so the more I watched him, I realized I do think he puts in a lot of things in the movie. I'm like, he puts this stuff in the movie just to see what you think of it. It doesn't actually have tons of overall meaning that people are applying to it. He wants to see what you apply the meaning to in this. And as I kept studying, I became, and listened to him talk, because there's a documentary, I became convinced of that to a degree. He doesn't want to tell you what you're supposed to think from his movies, what you're supposed to glean from them. He puts together a generalized, surreal story, and then he puts clues that may or may not actually be clues that have a lot to do with anything. He puts in scenes that may or may not have a lot to do with anything, and he wants to see what you think of them, what they mean to you. And it's almost like a dreamscape. His movies are almost like dreams. They're very surreal, very crazy, and they demand hellaciously good performances. And I like the fact that, because he does thumb his nose a little. If you listen to him talk, like, he talks about actors like, this is art. This shit's not that serious. People get way too up their own butts about stuff and take it over serious. It's art. You're supposed to let people think what they want to. I don't care what people think. I'm throwing this out there. And that's what he's saying. I'm basically throwing this out there, and he hopes that 100 different people watch it and get 100 different takeaways from it. So Mulholland Drive, though, it has like some horror elements to it. It has some, it's pretty out there. It has movie making inside the film involved. And of course, that's something that I always like. But Mulholland Drive coming in at number 5. I think it's 5. Number 5 on my list of best blind buys this year. Now, number 4 is kind of a cheat because it is a blind buy, but it was given to me by an awesome channel member, Tyler. And I'm going Lynch again with Blue Velvet. The performance in here by Dennis Hopper is next level good. He's crazy, batshit crazy. The movie is batshit crazy. In a lot of ways, the movie makes no sense. It serves no purpose, except for to see what you think about it. And I just think that's Lynch. The 4K on this is beautiful. The same with Mulholland Drive. I mean, these are great. I think Studio Canal actually did them though. Kyle MacLachlan, I think I said his name, McLaughlin. He's great in this. I watched his Criterion Closet picks where he talked about this kind of at length, and it kind of takes the idyllic small town like Americana white picket fence and goes into the seedy little underbelly and like what people are really like and the things that they think in their head, their perversions, their picadillos, their what they do, what you would do when people aren't looking. I feel like that's a big part of this, and just the thing, what exists like under the facade. And to me, that almost leans to the parts that I like about horror, like small town creepy vibe horror, where it seems okay on the surface, but there's some kind of mystery, there's some kind of deep darkness, scary stuff right under the surface. And I feel like I get a little bit of that from Blue Velvet. And I think that's what he wants. He wants you to get what he wants, or what you want out of it. And the more I realize that with him, the more open I am to digging into his stuff. So David Lynch's Blue Velvet comes in at number 4 on my best blind buys of the year. Even though I didn't actually buy it, it was an amazing gift that got me started on my David Lynch journey, and I'll never forget it and be forever grateful for it. At number 3 on my list is actually maybe my favorite thing that I've watched this year, but it's not a movie, so I couldn't put it over movies in my opinion. But I think it's actually my favorite blind thing that I had never seen before this year that I watched, that I'll probably watch more than anything else. And I'm still going to do a video because I have a video planned for a little rebuttal on it to go along with a review. But I am talking about 1982, Greatest Geek Year Ever. This is a documentary that is part of the MVD Rewind collection that is new this year. And it goes over all the movies released in 1982, their pop culture relevance, the making of them. It's got great interviews. It's got great footage behind the scenes, all this kind of stuff. Y'all, it is peanut butter for the soul. It's one of these things that I'll put on. If I'm feeling down, I think this will make me feel better. If I'm feeling good, it's going to enhance it. It just gives me all those vibes, nostalgia. Now, is 1982 the greatest year? I think 1984 has something to say about that. So you're going to get a video from me soon where I review this a little bit more and maybe take it on and make my case for 1984 being the best geek year ever. But this thing is fantastic. I cannot recommend it enough. Love it. I will never get tired of watching it. I love things like this, but it's not a movie, so I pushed it down just a little bit. But man, do I love it, and I cannot recommend it enough. It comes in at number 3 on our list. Now, the top 2 I went back and forth on, and I'm going to say that ultimately what gave number 1 the nod may be the package. I had to just split something up somehow, right? But coming in at number 2 on my list is another De Palma film, Body Double. The first time I watched this, I see this one's a little bit of cheat because I'm pretty sure I've seen this at some point when I was younger because I remember parts of it. But it's like it had been, 30 years. So it's a blind, because it was like watching it for the first time all over again. So Melanie Griffith in here, I mean, absolutely killing it with Brian De Palma. You have a lot of Hitchcock in this movie, like Hitchcock influence with shots and the way that it's done. There's very much like Rear Window. You've got like dolly zooms, shots, like the Dutch angle type things. Very stylistic, De Palma, and super sexy. super 80s. So it's got your sex appeal, it's got a voyeuristic appeal, a murder mystery appeal to it. So you got your sex, you got your nudity, and then you've got the murder mystery, and then you throw in the fact that it involves an actor and director and filmmaking behind the scenes and the whole Hollywood vibe. Absolutely love it. You got Barbara Crampton making one hell of a full-bodied cameo appearance, and I actually talked to her recently on Instagram, chatting back and forth, and she told me that there were other like she had lines and stuff in this that got cut out, so that the scene in there with her was supposed to go on much more, but it's a good movie. Twisted. The first time I watched it, I told Brian over at Last Movie Standing, I said I have a love-hate relationship with this movie because De Palma. The one knock on De Palma when I get into him is I feel like he is style over substance sometimes, especially when it comes to story. Like his story might be lacking a little. I find this one maybe the least lacking of some of his as far as, twists and turns and moving you through faster. And then the sex appeal makes it, a lot more fun. And the whole concept of the movie behind the movie, they're making a horror movie in the movie, and they're making a porn movie in the movie. So lots of stuff going on. But I have watched this maybe 5 times, and I'll watch this all the time. So Body Double, got the cool steelbook here, great 4K, and it comes in at number 2 on my best blind buys of the year, and that leaves number 1. And the packaging of this is incredible. It is expensive. It was amazing. I had never seen this movie, but Weird Science is my favorite John Hughes movie ever, and this was correctly, not by me to start with. This was again Brian over at the Last Movie Standing that described it this way before I blind bought it. Trick or Treat is number 1. It is Weird Science, a 80s horror version of Weird Science. And I should say this thing is dripping with 80s too, especially early 80s vibes. But Trick or Treat, I mean, the whole scene where I don't want to, if you haven't seen it, I don't want to say too much. I did do a review of this, but where Sammy Kerr, where he inadvertently brings Sammy Kerr back to life. That is 100% the scene where Lisa is brought to life in Weird Science. 100%. It's just the horror version of it. You got the flashing blue lightning. You got things shaking. You got electronics going wild. You've got stuff being blown over all over. It is the scene from Weird Science. 100%. So to me, that's what this movie is. It's a horror version of Weird Science, an 80s version. So it's a version of Weird Science. You got your 80s Blue Lightning. You got all your 80s vibes. You got horror. You've got 80s rock vibes in here. All that. There is nothing more I could ask for the things that I like. You got some sex appeal, so you got your 80s boobs in there, all that kind of stuff. If you're filling out your 80s checklist of horror, you've got it all on there. My brother was big into this movie. I never saw it. So I really liked it. And I think I probably liked it more than Brian did. But this, within the packaging and everything else. Now I know they're going to come out with a new standard release that will also have a slipcover. So if you missed out on this, that'll be cool. But I am proud to have it. This is by far, I don't want to say by far, because this movie, there's movies here that are better movies. But as far as fun and packaging and the nostalgia and all that kind of stuff, the great looking 4K, and all these 4Ks look great. This is nutso, very good. This just fun. It's just fun. It is so fun. I've kept it over here on my now playing little stand because it's just fun. It's fun to look at, and I'm glad to have it. And it is my number 1 blind buy of the year. So that's my top 10 blind buys. I got a couple of honorable mentions. Blowout, another De Palma movie, really good. Got that 4K. I'm trying to think of what else I have. I have a few things that are blind buys, or things that were sent to me that I haven't seen yet. Um, like Vamp. I've seen Vamp before, but again, it's gonna be another one of those that falls into blind buy, but or even though it was a gift, because it's just been so long since I've seen it. I was trying to think of others. Godzilla minus one was a blind buy that was it was good. Not necessarily 100% my taste all the way around, but I loved how Godzilla looked. I enjoyed it. It's a beautiful 4K, all that kind of stuff. So I'm happy to have it. So there's definitely some others out there, and just some that I hadn't had a chance to get to watch yet. But these are my top 10. Let me know what are some of your favorite blind buys that you got this year. Let's talk about it. I got a lot of other lists coming. Some really in-depth study I've done for 4Ks. For my best 4Ks for the second half of the year, I did them for the first half of the year. I'm going to do the best ones from the second half of the year. And then to launch 2025, we're going to look back and do the best 4Ks of the year as a whole. I'm going to re-rank them, go back through them. I'm going to do that over the holidays here and put that list together. I got some other things coming out. The horror movies that I'm looking forward to the most in 2025 being released. So much stuff, and I hope you stick around for it all. If you've enjoyed this, we do all kinds of things here: physical media news, 4K reviews, lists, rankings, all that kind of stuff from a fan and filmmaker's perspective. If that sounds like your jam, like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. I know you hear that crap all the time, but it really does. And if you want to help support the channel, you can join below, become a channel member, a pop culture channel member, pop culture family member, an icon, even got a few icons out there, and you're going to get your name in light, special access to different videos that I do, behind the scenes stuff for my filmmaking, all kinds of things like that. And I really do appreciate it. It all helps support the channel, and I thank you all so much for being here. Spread the word. Let's make this thing grow. I'm looking to take off in 2025 and spread the pop culture word to everybody out there on the damn internet. So let's do it together and have a lot of fun. And until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.